This storm, Ida, was Mother Nature at her fiercest and unsparing. As we've seen too often in the state of New York, all these 100-year events or 500-year events or 1,000-year events, they seem to be occurring with more regularity. And that was supposedly a 500-year event, 11 days earlier, unprecedented flooding from Tropical Storm Henri. Every 500 years that's supposed to happen, so we were good for a while. 11 days later, we got hit with another one. So just so you know, I'm not buying that analysis anymore. I'm not buying these 100-year events. I'm saying our climate has changed. Whether we want to accept that fact or not, it all has changed. So we always have to be prepared for the very worst. It's a tough way to live, but we have to be prepared to be able to take care of people and respond quickly and literally save lives, because that's what we were called to do this time last year. But we saw a wall of water come, turning our highways into rivers. And people, a lot of people were watching Serena last night. Everybody watching Serena last night? That's our girl, the queen. People were watching the US Open and having to flee there for their lives as the raging waters were coming there and throughout this community. So it was unprecedented. The amount of rainfall was extraordinary, something you're going to talk about for generations. And the violent winds were impossible to escape. Power outages, downed trees, falling on cars, falling on houses, billions and billions of dollars in property damage. Ida stole so much from New Yorkers. But worst of all, it stole the lives of 18 New Yorkers, 11 in Queens alone. We're here today to remember them, to honor them, to let their families know they're not forgotten. They were victims of a gut-wrenching tragedy. We mourn their loss every single day. So, in the aftermath, I went to the streets with many people here. We spoke to the families. We tried to console them. How do you console someone when they've lost a family member to something so wildly unexpected? You wake up in the morning, you think it's an ordinary day, and by the next day, your world is forever changed. So there's a lot of pain out there. It was hard. And also, the families, the individuals who did survive, everything they had amassed in their lives was gone. We went to the alley, went downstairs, saw homes where the flood waters had gone so high, the marks on the wall were shocking. Way over my head, 7 feet, 8 feet, in someone's home, literally having to break a window to escape. The stories were horrific. And when I looked out on the street and I saw the raging mud and people sitting there on street corners trying to go through the mud and find pictures of their babies and wedding pictures and maybe a birth certificate. Their lives were literally washed away. And Congresswoman Mang and I saw this image that'll be with us forever. A mother and a daughter, she couldn't have been more than 5, maybe even younger, sitting on a curb in front of a wash basin filled with dirty water. And she had a little toothbrush and she was scrubbing her little sneakers to try to get the mud that was caked up so she'd have something to wear on her feet, because she was sitting there barefoot. She had one pair of sneakers and she almost lost them. Those images never leave you. It was my first week on the job as governor. I will never forget what I saw in this community at that time. Every day I think of them. And so we spent the days, the weeks, showing up, talking to people. What do you need? How can we help? It was very real. We needed water. We needed food. We needed a place to stay. Hotels. Find some place to give people a shelter over their heads. But I want to say in the midst of all this trauma and stress, I saw something extraordinary. In the face of all that devastation, we witnessed countless acts of heroism from that community. I watched people put aside their differences, roll up their sleeves, come together, step up to help their neighbors and friends and strangers, and The heroes of this community, yes, always the first responders, we honor them every single day. The firefighters, our police, our EMTs, who put their lives on the line to rescue people during unknown circumstances. And whenever there's a crisis, they always show up for us. But in New York, it's not just the men and women in uniform who step up and save lives. It's everyday heroes like Junior and Jenny Moreno from East Elmhurst. Could you raise your hands? I met them last year. Their own house was flooded, their car destroyed. They didn't sit there wallowing in self-pity saying, oh my God, this happened to me. They immediately sprung into action. And they're out there in the street, checking on their neighbors. Was that you cooking the barbecue out there too? There are barbecues going on in the street. Someone rolled out the grill, we're making hot dogs to feed people and taking care of them. They dedicated themselves to people who were hurting even more than they were. Went door to door, checking on people, helping them fill out paperwork, helping the Red Cross identify people in need. These are the people that I honor today. People like the two of them, who just truly made me so proud to be the governor of a state with people like Junior and Jenny.